Right now, people usually expect to see a face on the screen rather than just hearing a voice. But it's so much better this way. I can speak my mind and not worry about people knowing who I am. I can express myself and not have to worry about watching what I say, as I do so often with my family and friends. I can just be me and just be real. I'm aware that people will judge me whether or not there's a face to look at on the screen. People might not like what I have to say, but that's okay. I'm not concerned about opinions, I'm concerned about facts. That said, let's get started, shall we? Okay, I don't know if this is just me or if anyone else can relate. When I was about 7 years old, I had a sick cousin sexually abuse me. And throughout the years, because now I'm in my 20s, throughout the years I've heard a lot of, get over it, it was long ago, you can't let that hold you back. It's just frustrating because it's like, okay, cool, get over it. But how? Sometimes I have nightmares about it. Sometimes I feel like I can still see him. It's weird. I don't know how to explain it. And it's just frustrating. Get over it. That's not something that you can get over, you know? No matter how much you try to move on, it's something that will always be there. For the longest time, I was wondering, I'm like, am I still a virgin? Like, I feel like that's so not fair. At 7, that's not fair. For me to even have lost my virginity at 7, that makes no sense to me. So I refused to think about it. It took me years before it started affecting my life. At 17, I started noticing that I started getting really depressed. It was constant. I would constantly feel down and just miserable. And I wasn't sure why I was feeling that way. I had so many friends and constantly had people always praise me for my appearance and tell me that I was so tall and that I should be a model. And I've never felt good enough. I always felt ugly. And I would focus so much on my appearance. And I thought that that would make me happy, to just, if I felt good about my appearance, then I would be happy. I felt like the more people liked me, the happier I would be. But I didn't like me. That was the issue. I hated myself. And then I started having nightmares of my past. I started watching rape porn because I felt like if I watch it, it would make me feel better about my situation, about what had been done to me, if I can watch something that was relatable. I always felt sick and terrible and just extremely guilty after watching it. I would wonder, like, what is wrong with me? How will I need to stop this bad habit. How do I do that though? I wasn't sure how to stop. It became an addiction to just watch all types of weird, twisted, taboo porn. And I realized that it had become an addiction. I refused to acknowledge that, but then there came a day when I was like, this really is an addiction. It's a bad habit that I started at 7 because of my cousin. Then, at the age of 19, I tried to commit suicide. It wasn't, I don't know what I was thinking. Now that I look back at it, I'm just like, wow. like I'm thinking about right now. Like I could never do that to my mother. But I guess at that point, I wasn't thinking about my mom. I wasn't thinking about people that would be hurt by my decision to end my life. I was just thinking about myself. It's okay for you to think about yourself, but you also have to think about how your decisions can make an impact in people's life and how it can take a toll. I was just really confused, and it's just crazy to me the fact that I'm even saying this. It was so hard for me to say, like, even to my mom. When I told my mom and other family members, it was heartbreaking for me. I kept crying. I couldn't even talk about it. It was so hard. They were all shocked, of course, and asking, why did you keep this, like, secret for so long? I didn't know how to answer that. I wasn't sure why I had never told anyone about it. I don't know. But you know what I realized? After I went to the hospital, I met a lot of people who had been abused and they never told anyone about it. You know, they kept that secret because it's really hard to talk about when things like that happen in your life. I feel like you're almost kind of in denial that it happened, and if you just put it out, it's like it's real. It finally becomes real, you know? It's not just your imagination, it's reality. And I think that was my issue. And I was so confused at 7 and 8, you know? I knew that there was something wrong, but this is a person that knows better. You know, he was what? Probably like in his late 30s, early 40s. So, you know, he was the adult. And I wasn't really sure what to do. I just knew that he was the adult. And in my mind, I felt like I had to obey him. It's funny. All I hear in the background is like my family all laughing, having a good time. And I'm just here talking about this horrific story. I don't know. I feel like I don't even know what I feel like right now. You know, I could be out there talking to my family, laughing, but I don't, it wouldn't be real. I'm like not having the best day today. So, this is what I need. I need to vent. I need to talk to, you know, my computer. And then hopefully people who watch this video. So that I feel some sort of relief. I've never had a romantic relationship with a man. I've never dated. I've never had any flings. I've never had any of that. And I feel like it has to do with me not trusting guys. I just always assume that a guy will end up breaking my heart or will just want to have sex and that's it. And that's not what I want at all, you know. I want to actually connect and, you know, get to know the person. I don't know, get married, all of that. That's what I want. And I just assume that whatever guy is interested in me just wants to just have sex and that's it. So I just, I avoid it. I try to avoid heartbreak. And I have friends tell me all the time, you're gonna end up alone. Or, you need to experience heartbreak at least once in your life. And I'm like, oh, no, not me. I could not handle it. And if I can avoid it, I will. Because the last thing I want is heartbreak. I've read it in romance novels and it's just not, it looks painful. And it's funny, I'm reading it and I feel like I'm seeing it and it just looks painful and I cannot. I've had so many friends experience heartbreak and I just sit there watching them like, I wonder how that feels. Like, that must be intense. Like, I don't know. I've never experienced it, when it comes to, having a boyfriend. I've never experienced it. And I heard that, heartbreak is like one of the worst types of pain, you know, falling in love and then that love going away. I'm just like, oof, no, I can't do that. So for now, I just, I read my romance novels and I escape with my books. It's a great escape. I like to read a lot. I'm obsessed with reading. Like, I can read all day. I just love it. And I love pretending to be like a certain character in a book, or pretending that my friends or people on the streets are characters in the book. I like to imagine a lot of things. I like to write my own stories. I like to make up my own stories in my head too. But the problem with that is that the more I escape into these books and pretending, I'm not actually living my life and I'm not being productive and I'm not creating the life that I want. I'm just here, envisioning a life that I would love to have, but not doing anything about it to get it. That needs to change. That needs to change today. Because if I don't change something, I'm just gonna keep getting older and have regrets in life for not doing what I wanted to do in the first place. It's funny, I'm in my 20s now and I feel sort of old. I don't know. I, I don't have a typical 20-year-old life, you know, where you go out to bars and clubs and have fun, and are traveling and go on vacations. I don't have that at the moment, you know. That's not really what I want, to be honest. The only thing that I would want is to travel and to meet new people for sure, make new friends and all of that. I don't mind not being out on a Friday night partying because I honestly feel uncomfortable doing things like that. And that's okay. I feel like a lot of our generation, especially the younger generation now, they just think that, oh, if I'm not out on a Friday night, I'm a loser. Like, if I'm just in the house not doing anything and just, not attending this party or not out with friends, I'm just not relevant. And that's not true at all. I actually feel really good on a Friday night reading books and watching movies on Netflix. That's okay. You don't have to do those things for you to be relevant. What you need to do to be relevant is be who you are. and just be productive and make the most of your life. Just start fresh. And starting fresh doesn't mean, you know what, I'm gonna pack my things and I'm gonna go to a different country or to a different state, because if that was the case, I'd be screwed. I can barely pack my things and go to a different city, you know? It's okay to not be okay. Oh my god, what am I saying? I don't know. I just want to start fresh, too. I'm just trying to figure out how exactly that might be. You know? Like, I've been wanting to work out, so I'm gonna do that. I've been wanting to get out the house more frequently, so I will do that too. I guess that's a starting fresh for me. So figure out what starting fresh means to you and do that. But this is basically my story. I didn't get into details, but I didn't have to. What matters is that you got something, anything out of it, and that you were able to relate. And honestly, getting into details when it comes to stuff like this, it's a bit hard. I feel honestly much better than I did after ending this video, and I just want to end it on a good note and tell you to always remember that life is short and be productive and just make the most of it. Take control of your life. I'd say thanks for watching, but that wouldn't make sense. So thanks for listening.